this country for so long, and all these American presidents, what are those power centers in the United States, do you think? Like, who actually makes the decisions?
So, wait a minute. That is a big question right there about, is Biden actually running the government? Oh, I cannot wait to
I
see
think
who this
Biden is
president
just a puppet.
Quick pitch
He,
around Thank you so much
black
for
Nazi
150,000
supremacists
likes.
choose him
If you wanna
because he
subscribe,
have a Hopkins disease
startups,
or called sponge donkey brain virus. He get this sexual transmitted disease by fucking black asshole and let his asshole being fucked.
It's not easy for us to sort it all out.
I mean, also fucked by white kid.
Elections? Is it possible?
But by his own son, by the hunter.
Someone can be excluded from elections at the state level.
这个我是随便在讲嘛，就是乱骂人的话，就是 American humor。Hunter Biden used to cuddle inside Joe Biden's bed, and Joe Biden told Hunter Biden, your ass is daddy's favorite. This is just America like a joke. Because fucking Joe Biden, he put the mental illness patient tag on me and ruin my life and destroy my family for over 8 years. I have every right to make a dirty joke toward him.
Why? I think among other.
Quick note, he kind of slid in a slam on what just happened with the Supreme Court today, where basically what he's saying.
Yeah, and I saw in United States Congress, I saw Hunter Biden's dick being sucked by male prostitutes using taxpayer money. His daddy crooked Joe Biden make. Yeah, I just saw Hunter Biden's white ass and the dick before in picture.
I convinced the political leadership that it is necessary to continue chiseling Russia, to try to break it up, to create on this territory several quasi-state entities, and to subdue them in a divided form, to use their combined potential for the future struggle with China. This is a mistake, including the excessive potential of those who worked for the confrontation with the Soviet Union. It is necessary to get rid of this. There should be new, fresh forces, people who look into the future and understand what is happening in the world. Look at how Indonesia is developing. 600 million people. Where can we get away from that? Nowhere. We just have to assume that Indonesia will enter. It is already in.
And now Biden let so much like poor illegal immigrant in. If they really organize it, it could be like I don't know, either black supremacy, Muslim Nazi like Spring the Revolution, or Stalin communism state control revolution. If you know military, you know what I'm talking about.
In the United States themselves, experts are writing that the United States are nonetheless.
Yeah, those homeless refugees, they are very easy to be like 就很容易被政治煽动的然后发动暴乱啊。所以美国的治安才会越来越差啊，政府控制不好，说不定就会发动很奇怪的东西的。而且美国是特别危险的 because America owned at least over 10 billion of guns inside of America. The American citizens own more guns than all other foreign nations' military combined by number.
you send troops into Ukraine, the Vice President of the United States convened a security conference and encouraged the President of Ukraine to join.
As an American, no.
Do you think that
There's a lot of gun.
into military action?
Yeah, American citizens own more gun than whole all the foreign nation military combines gun number times at least 2 or 3.
Problems that arose in Ukraine after 2014 with the talk through peaceful means.
And they have a lot, but ammunition, way. American citizens definitely own more ammunition, maybe not more than Russia, but at least more than any small nation.
And in parallel, the territory was being exploited by NATO military structures under the guise of various personnel training and retraining centers. They essentially began
In America, ammunition is so cheap. One bullet used to only cost 50 cents. Now it's about like $1, I think.
Ukraine, having received all these southeastern territories as a gift from the Russian people, suddenly announced that the Russians were a non-titular nationality in that territory. Is that normal? All of this put together led to the decision to end the war that neo-Nazis started in Ukraine in 2014.
然后我政治知识还有知道的很少的，我以前都不看新闻的。For over 10 years. Before 2016, I don't even watch news. I only read books.
But I believe he has, in any case, he used to have. His father fought against the fascists, Nazis, during World War II. I once talked to him about this. I said, Volodya, what are you doing? Why are you supporting neo-Nazis in Ukraine today, while your father fought against fascism? He was a frontline soldier. I will not tell you, but he answered, this is a separate topic, and I think it's incorrect for me to do so. But as to the freedom of choice, why not? He came to power on the expectations of Ukrainian people that he would lead Ukraine to peace. He talked about this. It was thanks to this that he won the elections overwhelmingly. But then, when he came to power, in my opinion, he realized two things. Firstly, it is better not to clash with neo-Nazis and nationalists because they are aggressive and very active.
Yeah, sometimes they are aggressive to a degree, like beat your family, or like rape you.
It is beneficial and safe. So he took the relevant position despite promising his people to end the war in Ukraine. He deceived his voters.
But do you think at this point,
And they own a lot of mental illness hospital to arrest people voice they don't like into mental illness hospital.
worth quickly noting, Putin here,
Like crooked Joe Biden and black Jose Obama did.
turn a blind eye to neo-Nazis because that would keep him in power. That's what
Yeah, neo-Nazi. Yeah, I think neo-Nazi is talking about the black Jose Obama. They use news media to promote black supremacy, to enslave white Americans' mind, to think those black Nazis they being suffered a lot. Instead, they didn't be suffered because in the beginning, those slaves imported to United States, they are actually food captured by those black human eating tribe. Western explorer use miller and glass marble to trade them from being cooked as food. But later on, there's not enough slaves so they does catch those human eating tribe, so-called African warrior, to become slave. And I know not all African tribe inside Africa eat human. There's two groups. One called non-human eating tribe. The other one called human eating tribe. Their traditional culture is when they die, they eat their body. Especially they love eat human brain. And I think they will get a little bit intelligence from them, which is not possible if you know science. You will only get 疯牛病，还有那个黑驴的黑驴大脑变成海绵体病。
As soon as you, America, stop supplying weapons, this will be resolved in a few weeks, and then we can negotiate. So, in the same interview, Putin is saying...
And even until today, in Africa, they still practice this kind of tradition. When their elder die, they even gather from another tribe, like member, come to eat brain, like a zombie, like a planet with zombie eat brain. Yeah, some African tribe really eat human brain, and it is their tradition.
But the British persuaded us and we refused this. Where is Mr. Johnson?
A lot of African tribes already gave up this human eating habit, but some of them still secretly do it behind the government's back.
There was a general starting point. For some reason, everyone had the illusion that Russia could be defeated on the battlefield. Because of arrogance, because of a pure heart, but not because of a great mind.
俄罗斯人是很会打仗，他们建设经济不是很厉害，但是打仗特别厉害的。中国人是给他们取外号是叫战斗民族啊，然后是叫战斗民族啊，反正至少中国共产党就是这么说的啊。
As I already mentioned in 988, Prince Vladimir himself was baptized following the example of his grandmother, Princess Olga. Then he baptized his squad, and then gradually over the course of several years, he baptized all the Rus. It was a lengthy process, from pagans to Christians. It took many years. But in the end, this orthodoxy, Eastern Christianity, deeply rooted itself in the consciousness of the Russian people. When Russia expanded and absorbed other nations who profess Islam, Buddhism, and Judaism, Russia has always been very loyal to those people who profess other religions. This is her strength. This is absolutely clear. And the fact is that the main postulates, main values are very similar, not to say the same, in all world religions I just mentioned, and which are the traditional religions of the Russian Federation, Russia.
我刚刚发现普京的手上的皮肤比他脸上的皮肤白很多。对，他手上的皮肤，对啊，就是差不多就比我黑一点点。
To Europe from Latin America, and even clearer and more understandable example, people come, but yet they have come to you or to Europe.
他手背上的皮肤比我白。
And people who profess different religions in Russia consider Russia their motherland. They have no other motherland. We are together. This is one big family, and our traditional values are very similar. I've just mentioned one big family, but everyone has her own
然
family.
后普京的身高差不多看起来像
And if
像
you
1.7 米，
say that the motherland
然
and
后
the
体重
family
差不
are
多只有
specifically connected to each other.
110斤最多。
Если мы говорим, что родина — семья,
It is indeed the case, since it is impossible to ensure a normal future for our children and our families unless we ensure a normal, sustainable future for the entire country, for the motherland. That is why patriotic sentiment is so strong in Russia.
But can I say that the one way in which the religions are different is that Christianity is specifically a non-violent religion. Jesus says, "Turn the other cheek, don't kill." How can a leader who has to
然
kill
后塔克的皮肤他的手背跟我差不多黑，然后他的手心也是也是挺白的啊。
если речь
哦，他可是有像川普一样在脸上化妆，画那个叫什么 orange 什么妆，就是这是一种就是美国白人用来保护脸上皮肤被太阳晒伤，还有同时保护他们不被那个black supremacy 纳粹攻击的一种方法，就是把脸涂黑一点。其实他们的皮肤应该是更加白的。
As for religion in general,
只要用那个化妆水，然后把他们脸上的皮肤搓两下，就会发现他们其实脸上皮肤会白很多的。很多美国的白人，就是不管是男性还是女性，他们去 business company 上班，必须要画那个把脸上画的黑一点。 不然会被黑纳粹说他们种族歧视，竟敢不化妆，竟敢看起来那么白，显得他们特别黑。他们不检讨自己长得黑，然后要强迫白人，然后把脸涂黑 ，to match their skin color。在很多大公司，反正男性一般是很少的，只有那些极端种族歧视的，是要逼白人男性画黑的妆，但是一般的 Western like female if they go to corporation to work, they are expected to like tone their skin down. Otherwise, they would be called racist or called Nazi, called white Nazi by those black racists.
look out across what's happening in the world?
But this only happened in America. I don't think it happened in European country or Asia.
честно говоря, так не думаю. Я думаю, что
no, to be honest, I don't think so. My opinion is that the development of the world community is in accordance with the inherent laws, and those laws are what they are. It's always been this way in the history of mankind. Some nations and countries rose, became stronger and more numerous, and then left the international stage, losing the status they had accustomed to. There's probably no need for me to give examples, but we could start with the Genghis Khan and Ford conquerors, the Golden Horde, and then end with the Roman Empire. It seems that there has never been anything like the Roman Empire in the history of mankind. Nevertheless, the potential
你看，我抽 all kinds of brand of cigarette 的。
In general, the barbarians were getting stronger and began to develop economically, as we would say today. This eventually led to the collapse of the Roman Empire and the regime imposed by the Romans. However, it took 5 centuries for the Roman Empire to fall apart. The difference with what is happening now is that all the processes of change are happening at a much faster pace than in Roman times.
So when does the AI empire start? The AI. I'm not sure if he's talking about artificial intelligence, but that might be what he's leading into because Putin's kind of suggesting, hey, because of social media today, everything's moving a lot faster.
asking increasingly more complicated questions. To answer them, you need to be an expert in big numbers, big data, and AI. Mankind is currently facing many threats. Due to the genetic researches, it is not possible to create a superhuman, a specialized human being, a genetically engineered athlete, scientist,
前面
military.
几种烟都是美国烟，我还抽外国烟的。你看我这还有的是外国烟的。
They had a chip implanted in the human brain in the USA.
What do you think of that?
Well, I think
Wait, let's be clear. He did implant a chip in someone else's human brain, not in Elon's brain.
那你看这是
I
外
have
国
heard
烟。
that. And I have heard the chip has gone into somebody else's brain. That was a little bit of a, potentially a dangling participant there.
And there's no stopping Elon Musk. He will do as he sees fit. Nevertheless, you need to find some common ground.
你看我在美国还有日本零食吃。
I think he's a smart
你看这上面写的是日文的。
So you need to reach an agreement.
你看绿颜色的字明显是日文。
This process needs to be formalized and subjected to certain rules.
Что будет происходить с ним в связи с развитием вот этих новейших
你看我
исследований?
还有意大利巧克力。
Humanity has to consider what is going to happen due to the newest development in genetics or in AI. One can make an approximate prediction of what will happen.
Угрозу своему существованию от ядерного оружия все начали обладать.
哎，你看我还有意大利国旗，不是意大利矿泉水，这是意大利，上面有意大利国旗的。你刚才下面。
Come to terms with one another since they realized the negligent use of nuclear weaponry could drive humanity to extinction.
但是这个矿泉水是美国产的。
Остановить которые
It
невозможно.
is impossible to stop research in genetics or AI today, just as it was impossible to stop the use of gunpowder back in the day.
И конституция все равно. Когда человечество почувствует угрозу,
But as soon as we realize that the threat comes from unbridled and uncontrolled development of AI, or genetics, or any other field, the time will come to reach an international agreement on how to regulate these things.
I appreciate all the time that you've given us. I'm just going to ask you one last question, and that's about some of the very famous United States, probably not here. Kevin Gershkovich, who's the lieutenant over authority to smart in prison for almost a year. Smart prosecutor in the United States. And I just want to ask you directly, without getting into the details of the version happened, if as a sign of our decency, you'd be willing to release him to us and we'll bring him back to the United States. So smart.
настолько жест доброй воли, что мне кажется, мы исчерпали все
We have done so many gestures of goodwill and of decency that I think we have run out of them. We have never seen anyone reciprocate to us in a similar manner. However, here you could say that we do not know now that we can do that.
这个叫巴沙耶。
If our partners take reciprocal steps.
因为我的烟被美国政府下毒，抽的是奇怪的香烟，都不是正常人类抽的，特别苦。
Services are in contact with one another.
和我以前在美国抽的香烟的味道不一样，同样是Marlboro brand 的烟，味道差了非常多。Obvious, I know it is counterfeit.
But there are certain terms being discussed via special services channels. I believe in
对呀、我抽的最多的烟就是Marlboro brand 的啊。然后很重口味的 Camel 烟，我以前也抽过一段时间。 然后我喝的矿泉水，最多的肯定是美国的 Deer Park 牌的，第二多的就是Cleveland 牌的。 我一天的喝水量， 比这两个比普京和Tucker加起来还要多5倍。
Maybe it's not fair to ask for somebody else in exchange for letting him out. Maybe it degrades Russia to do that.
我一般饿不死的，但我口渴的话很快就渴死了，因为我喝水量特别大。
You can give different interpretations to what constitutes a spy, but there are certain things provided by law. If a person gets secret information and does that in a conspiratorial manner, then this is qualified as espionage. And that is exactly what he was doing. He was receiving classified, confidential information, and he did it.
我没有毒瘾的，但是我有烟瘾，我还有 Coca-Cola 瘾的，我每天都要喝可乐，我喝的可口可乐，绝对比普丁一辈子喝的可乐，加起来的量还要至少多10倍，多50倍。
But he was caught red-handed when he was secretly getting confidential information. What is it then?
But are you suggesting he was working for the U.S. government or NATO, or he was just a reporter who was given material he wasn't supposed to have? Those seem like very different things.
Because on daily basis, I consume about 10 cans of Diet Coke.
But I would like to reiterate that getting classified information in secret is called espionage, and he was working for the U.S. Special Services, some other agencies. I don't think he was working for Monaco, as Monaco is hardly interested in getting that information. It is up to Special Services to come to an agreement. Some groundwork has been laid. There are people who, in our view, are not connected with Special Services. Let me tell you a story about a person serving a sentence in an allied country of the U.S. That person, due to patriotic sentiments, eliminated a bandit in one of the European capitals. During the events in the Caucasus, do you know what he was doing? I don't want to say that, but I will do it anyway. He was laying our soldiers, taken prisoner, on the road and then drove his car over their heads. What kind of person is that? Can he even be called human? But there was a patriot who eliminated him in one of the European capitals. Whether he did it of his own volition or not, that is a different question.
Where's that? I mean, that's like completely different. I mean, he's a film too.
He committed something different. He's not just a journalist. I reiterate, he's a journalist who is secretly getting confidential information. Yes, it is different, but still, I'm talking about other people who are essentially controlled by the U.S. authorities, wherever they are serving a sentence. There is an ongoing dialogue between the special services. This has to be resolved in a calm, responsible, and professional manner.
I think it's so interesting how much pushback Putin is actually giving here. He's really trying to explain. You know, Putin could have easily said, hey, we're negotiating that and cut that story. But Putin's actually going deep into this. Hey, this person violated our laws. This person committed espionage. This person went way deeper than you think, and we caught him red-handed. And what that does now is it creates some doubt in people who are hearing the story only from an American point of view. That's the point of Putin sort of speaking, is now you hear the other side. It's like, okay, well, who is right? Very interesting.
They're keeping in touch, so let them do their work. I do not rule out that the person you referred to, Mr. Bershkovitz, may return to his motherland. By the end of the day, it does not make any sense to keep him in prison in Russia.
Wait. Did Tucker actually mention Evan's name? Because Putin rolled that off pretty smoothly. He knows exactly who this person is.
We want the U.S. Special Services to think about how they can contribute to achieving the goals our special services are pursuing. We are ready to talk. Moreover, the talks are underway, and there have been many successful examples of these talks crowned with success. Probably this is going to be crowned with success as well. But we have to come to an agreement.
I hope you let him know. Mr. President, thank you.
I also want him to return to his home at last. I'm absolutely sincere. But let me say once again, the dialogue continues. The more public we render things of this nature, the more difficult it becomes to resolve. Everything has to be done in calm manner.
I wonder if that's true with the war, though. Also, I mean, I guess I want to ask one more question, which is, and maybe you don't want to say so for strategic reasons, but are you worried that what's happening in Ukraine could lead to something much larger and much more horrible? How motivated are you just to call the U.S. government and say, let's come to terms?
I already said that we did not refuse to talk. We are willing to negotiate. It is the Western side, and Ukraine is obviously a satellite state of the U.S. It is evident. I do not want you to take it as if I'm looking for a strong word or an insult, but we both understand what is happening. The financial support, $72 billion was provided. Germany was second, then other European countries came. Dozens of
Yeah,
billions
instead of spending those so much taxpayers' money on Ukraine, I think Joe Biden evil administration should focus more on violent crime that already destroyed California, because Joe Biden stupid retard administration passed law in California to promote robbery inside the store. Call if you rob things under $950, you are just you are innocent of this misdemeanor charge, which only need to be arrested in prison for about a week in United States law. To promote robbery inside California and destroyed a lot of Asian business and white business there. Obviously, they does not dare to rob a black business, because the black society, they have gangster, they have guns. Those criminals does not have guns to rob black society's property, but they rob innocent capitalist small business, and small business suffer the most because insurance company refuse to accept their insurance, because if they keep doing that, insurance company gonna bankrupt. That is how stupid Joe Biden evil administration is. They don't think about consequence. 他们只会看眼前，怎么样拆东墙补西墙，然后把那个美国的衣服这里挖一个洞，然后去填然后打上在另一个洞上面把补丁填上去。用成语来描述就是这样啊。
As I have already said, by means of weapons. Let me look back to further in history. I already told you this. We were just discussing it. Let us go back to 1991, when we were promised that NATO would not expand.
1991 is that time when with war with Iraq. But that time is different. It's a justice war because Iraq dictator called Saddam Hussein. Same name as Black Hussein Obama. Saddam Hussein does have war with Iran, then Saudi Arabia and he also invaded Kuwait because that time Iraq has military is really strong. Saddam Hussein that time called himself the third strongest military, which got his ass kicked by United Nations, the peacekeeping force. But those veterans fought hard, split their blood to protect democracy for weak country. They got murdered by Black Hussein Obama and the Joe Biden evil administration to revenge the Muslims died there. That is why United States veterans suicidal rate is extremely high. Most of them because they've been put a mental illness tag by government called 战场综合创伤症.
Would you be willing to say
I mean, this thing is very easy to treat. Fucking stupid Joe Biden and Obama. They purposely they don't let I assume they did what they torture me, like a similar degree to torture I mean real American veteran because I'm not in military. I'm just playing poker for living. I play poker to make money for living.
It is not us who have done that. It is our partners, opponents who have done that. Well, now let them think how to...
Yeah, last time I played with Phil Harmer, I just make at least $500 from him. $500, I mean, to America is just a little bit of money. $500, no big deal. But to Russian people, $500 that to poor country like Russia, $500 can support a single individual's food at least for a month. And in Asian country, it's cheaper. For example, in Vietnam or Thailand or Malaysia or Indonesia. Yeah, actually, I know $500 in Indonesia or Malaysia, it's more than enough to provide a whole family for food a month.
This is an example for real life. Our soldiers were shouting to them, "There is no chance. Surrender yourselves. Come out and you will be alive." Suddenly, the Ukrainian soldiers were screaming from there in Russian, perfect Russian, saying, "Russians, do not surrender," and all of them perished. They still identify themselves as Russian. What is happening is, to a certain extent, an element of a civil war. Everyone in the West thinks that the Russian people have been split by hostilities forever. No, they will be reunited. The unity is still there. Why are the Ukrainian authorities dismantling the Ukrainian Orthodox Church? Because it brings together not only the territory, it brings together ourselves. No one will be able to separate the soul. Shall we end here, or is there anything else?
No, I think that's good. That's it. Thank you, Mr. President.
Wow. Okay, first of all, thank you so much for being here. Make sure to subscribe if you want more breakdowns. I'm about to run through everything was just talked about in about 15 minutes. So if you like what I do on the channel, hit subscribe. Join me for politically neutral breakdowns of what the hell is going on all over the world. Hold on. Listen, I just had a historic sit-down interview with Vladimir Putin, president of Russia. Here's everything that you need to know. A full summary of everything that happened as quickly as we can get through it. First, Tucker starts by asking, why do you think the U.S. might strike Russia? Putin then goes into a history of the invasions of the Russian state, referring to Mongol invasions as before. And we spent all the way from the 900s to 1400s to the 2000s. Tucker asked multiple times, why is this relevant today? And Vladimir Putin made it very clear that he wanted to see the slow dismantling of Russia, the pressure of Russia from all angles, which essentially culminated in the war against Ukraine today. See, Vladimir Putin also distanced himself multiple times in the past. He distanced himself from admitting Ukraine, from leaving the U.S. itself, in Ukraine, allowing the Bolsheviks to establish their independence in Ukraine. He distanced himself from it. He distanced himself heavily multiple times from what he calls the Nazification. We talked a lot about that in this society. And he makes it very clear that he would have made different decisions. He has one vision for Putin, or for Russia, and that vision is unity. But unfortunately, he's essentially watched over not only history but his lifetime as the Russian either USSR or the Soviet Union has collapsed. And every time there has been a collapse, he thought, well, maybe Russia will finally be able to negotiate a generous and beneficial relationship with other organizations or countries. He specifically points out the 1991 Soviet Union collapse, where Russia generously bestows, in his words, Ukraine to other parts of the world. And the collapse of the Soviet Union was led by pro-Russian leaders. But now those leaders are gone, we can expect cooperation. In fact, there were even people like Ivan Bar of the German SDK, Social Democratic Party, where a new system could be established without expanding NATO. There could be some kind of alliance. And so Putin really distancing himself from what happened and ideas that could have been. Bar's ideas, a new system outside of NATO, is something that could have been. But those things didn't happen. So this is where things get interesting. Putin talks essentially about how NATO expanded 5 times. And this expansion is pressure on Russia. This is on ehack.com where I have a full summary of the entire interview. And here you can see a chart that shows you the expansion of NATO towards Russian territory. Vladimir Putin says he's not bitter. This is not about resentment. This is instead about the expanding power of NATO, which ultimately culminated in 2014. Now, we'll touch on 2014 in just a moment, but first, consider the partnership that Vladimir Putin and George Bush almost had. In August of 2007, Vladimir Putin made a counteroffer to George Bush on a planned U.S. missile shield defense system, a joint missile defense program. Bush himself, and I have my sources on this at ehack.com, called this a very innovative plan. This was true. Fact check this during the time of the interview. Putin suggested we can drastically change the world if we work together. But then somehow the president's underlings essentially contributed to the deal falling apart. Vladimir Putin is basically alleging here that Putin and him were good friends or got along at least. And that it's the system of America that wants to keep Russia an enemy. And it's that pressure that oppresses Russia. The deal fell apart. So Putin says we had to go develop our own missiles, our own hypersonic missiles. He argues things got worse when in 2008 the United States backed separatists. Background on this, okay, in 2008, Kosovo decided to declare independence from Serbia. Serbia was being supported by Russia. Kosovo was being supported by the United States. And at a NATO summit in Bucharest, the United States gave Ukraine and Georgia, the country, not the state, a membership action plan to join NATO. That obviously pisses Putin off. Putin says, what's going on? Ukraine is supposed to be a neutral state. Why weapons? Why NATO? This is not what we agreed to. And when we get into this,
My lightsaber is not red.
2010, you have Viktor Lukashenko, who's the best, but then that to another president, the fourth president of Ukraine, Viktor Yanukovych, who was president from 2010 to 2014. He was considered, or at one point,
It only get red when I'm angry.
with the European Union. And Vladimir Putin was like,
See, this is clearly not red.
to have open borders with the European Union, because if you do, that is going to lead to a free flow of goods between you, and that is going to hurt our free market economy. So we would have to close our border. At some point, things got tense. Viktor Yanukovych said, "Fine, I will support Russia." And as soon as he forced to support Russia, boom, coup d'etat. That is a military overthrow of the presidency. Vladimir Putin alleges that this was backed by the CIA. He actually goes as far as slamming Tucker Carlson for wanting to join the CIA, and then suggests it was probably a good thing that Tucker Carlson got denied. That was really sly. Tucker's face at that point was kind of like, bro, you went there. That was pretty crazy. But anyway, Vladimir Putin then says, look, we took Crimea in exchange under our protection. Okay, now obviously that's not how the West calls it. The West says Russian forces occupied Crimea to quell protests. And then the Russian government organized, illegally is what the West alleges, the Republic of Crimea. And when the Republic of Crimea was formed, then the Republic declared independence from Ukraine, and Russia annexed Crimea. It's sort of their story, okay? Many countries today still see Crimea as Ukrainian. Anyway, and this is also a very strategically important location with the seaport, Sevastopol. We don't have to go into all of that. It's important, okay? Strategically, critically, everything important. So it's kind of convenient. But anyway, Putin suggests that the U.S. backed the coup that caused this. In 2014, we then had war break out in the Donbass region. This was another phase in the Russia-Ukrainian war that came after this Crimean takeover. It started April 12th of 2014. 14,000 were killed. That was about 6,500 Russians, 4,400 Ukrainians, 3,400 civilians. So there have been tensions and issues here for a while. Vladimir Putin said he's been asking for decades, please keep weapons out of Ukraine. We want peace. In fact, we're going to offer peace and come up with the Minsk agreements that were negotiated and settled. This was the settlement that relaxed tensions in Donbass and ended that war. However, Vladimir Putin suggests that Zelensky refuses to implement the Minsk Accords. Now, Ukraine...
Yes, Zelensky is a puppet controlled by Joe Biden evil administration to create a war so can save Biden's bombshell company back to alive because Biden is using taxpayers' money to save his business interest group.
We were ready to implement it. Okay, he didn't actually say it that way because he says it through a translator, but he did literally say, we were ready to implement it, which kind of means he didn't implement it. So it kind of means Ukraine was right about it. And so I'm like, wait a minute, so you say you didn't implement it? There were a couple instances like this through the interview where Putin's kind of like pooped on himself a little bit, and some of the things he said were actually very interesting, so let's keep going. He says that, I believe if we manage to bring the residents of Donbass back to Ukraine, these wounds would heal. This is a common theme of what Putin says. He actually thinks everybody's sort of just one person, that the Ukrainian people are actually Russians at heart. Now, of course, there have been studies by, for example, Pew Research that suggest Polish individuals don't like Russia, but Ukrainians are a lot more of a mix.